I'm an unmarried pastor, and last summer I said something in one of my messages that raised some eyebrows. I encouraged young men to develop friendships with older ladies at church. Even though I was incredibly clear that I was encouraging platonic friendship and not potential romance, some people thought this was a weird suggestion, but I still think that this is a good idea. Friendships like this can provide many practical and relational blessings. So in this video, I'm going to highlight 5 gifts that younger men can receive when they build friendships with older ladies in the church. And in the end, I will also talk about 2 challenges that can occur in these kinds of friendships. If you are a younger man, I want to encourage you to be brave and get to know the older, godly ladies at your church. And if you are not going to church, I hope that you will go and you will experience the benefits of having a diverse Christian community. If you are an older lady, I want to persuade you that you have a role to play in the lives of young men. You may or may not have kids of your own, but either way, God wants you to be a blessing to the young men at your church. So let's talk about how. The first gift that young men can receive from older ladies at the church is food. If the ladies at your church are anything like the ladies at my church, they love feeding people. And if you are a guy like me, you enjoy eating food. Do you see how these things fit so well together? Seriously, why wouldn't you want to spend time with people who want to feed you? Now, I'm not a picky eater, but nearly everything that the ladies at church give me just tastes great. And I have gotten to experience many types of food that I wouldn't have found on my own. I've enjoyed eating Indian dishes and Italian dishes and Polish desserts. I can prepare my own food, and I often do, but eating leftovers that others have given me saves me a ton of money. I'm not exaggerating when I say that over the past few years, I've saved hundreds and probably thousands of dollars on food because the ladies at church have been so generous with me. Over the last week, I have gotten a couple of different food donations from the ladies at church. First one is right here. This is what's called, as I understand, $1 million spaghetti. It's kind of like a combination of spaghetti and lasagna. That is actually left over from small group on Wednesday night. My buddy Brian is in my small group. His mom made that for us, and I was able to get the leftovers. Over here, you have some Thanksgiving leftovers. Those are compliments of my friend Tanya, who had me over for Thanksgiving. And I've already gotten a couple meals out of that, and I expect to get a couple of more meals out of that as well. So even just this week, it's been good. In one of my other videos, I talked about how I really don't like being a burden to other people. And for a while, I kind of felt guilty about taking all the food that people would give me. But what I've started to understand is that these ladies genuinely enjoy feeding other people. When someone generously gives, both the giver and the receiver are blessed. And that's exactly the way God made it to be. So guys, if the ladies at your church offer you food, just say yes. The second way that young men can be blessed in friendships with older women is clothes. Now, like a lot of guys, I don't have a strong instinctual sense of fashion. I'm probably most comfortable in jeans and a t-shirt and a baseball hat, and that's what I wear on a lot of weekends. Fashion doesn't come naturally to me, but I am willing to learn. And I have learned that the clothes that other people think look best on me are often the clothes that women have given me. Over the past few years, there have been at least 4 different ladies at church who've given me clothing of some sort. And when I wear those things, I tend to get more compliments. Let me show you a few examples. This shirt is a shirt my friend Catherine gave me, and it's kind of shiny. I kind of like that it has this different pattern inside on the neck and on the buttons here. People seem to like this one. This sweater was a gift from another lady at church, and nearly every time I wear this, people say that this color looks really good on me. I know there's this thing about like getting your colors professionally done. I've never done that, but for whatever reason, people seem to think this looks good. If you agree, comment down below. I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the red in my beard. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but people seem to like this one too. This is a shirt that I was given back in August for my birthday from a lady at church. And I have preached in this a couple times, and it has gotten genuinely good reviews. Now, guys, I'm not saying that you need to turn over your whole wardrobe to the ladies at church. You can still have your own distinctive style. But if we are smart, we will be willing to learn from our sisters about what looks good on us and what doesn't look good on us. The third gift that young men can receive from the older ladies at their church is decorating. Young guys are notorious for not caring about their living spaces. It's basically a meme at this point that a guy can be totally happy with a mattress and a television. Some guys are really good at decorating, but most of us don't care a whole lot. And I've come to believe that the way that we arrange our space really matters. And it's the ladies at my church who have helped me understand this. When I moved into my house 3 years ago, I made a post on social media. And afterwards, one of the ladies from my church reached out and offered to help me decorate my house. Catherine is in her 70s, and during her professional career, she worked for multiple design companies and furniture stores. So she really knows her stuff. And she helped me find high quality furniture, all of it that was used or free. She also helped me decorate for Christmas, some of which you can see in the background behind me here. Let me show you around my living room. I just love this little wood-burning stove. It actually came with the house. I found it in the garage. It was a little bit rusty, but I was able to clean it up and then repurpose it for decoration here in the living room. This little bench I found on Facebook Marketplace for $25. I repainted it, and I also found that cushion on Facebook Marketplace from a different seller. It gets a fair amount of use here in the entryway to my home. This chair right here is probably one of Catherine's favorite pieces that I have in my entire house. We got this for, I think, $75, and she tells me it's like a $900 chair, so apparently pretty good quality. These couches over here, well, the couch and the love seat are probably some of the most expensive things I have in my house. Together, those were $300, and but they were barely used, and they work really well in the room. These two side tables you see here, I think each of those were $25 and really well made, really high quality. This table in the middle, it was $50 and it looks good and it fits well in the space. Over here in the corner is another one of the best finds that we had. This little table was $50, I believe, and Catherine tells me it's like a $1,200 piece, so really high quality. The doors are sturdy, love that. Over here, the table and the mirror, both of these were free. I didn't have to pay anything for them at all, so just really high quality stuff, and I am so grateful for how my living room turned out. For less than $1,000, I was able to completely furnish and decorate my home. There was no way that I would have been able to do that without Catherine's help, and it wouldn't look half as good as it does now. The process of decorating was a collaborative process, and there were certainly times when Catherine and I had different visions. One of the reoccurring differences we ran into was form versus function. I tend to be more practical, and she wants things to look good. She still is not happy that I keep things on top of my fridge. Even though I didn't take all of Catherine's suggestions, I learned a lot from her. And many people have been blessed because she helped decorate my house. I know that a lot of you guys are probably not interested in having someone help you decorate. But let me tell you why I believe that decorating matters. In the Bible, followers of Jesus are commanded to show hospitality to one another. And being hospitable is actually a requirement for men who want to be pastors in the church. I have people over to my house almost every week for meals and meetings. And the choices that we make in decorating our home can help people feel more comfortable. By helping me make my home into a more welcoming place, Catherine has helped me be a better friend and a better pastor. So guys, listen to the ladies at your church and be willing to get help in decorating your place. Up to this point, the 3 friendship gifts that I've talked about have been physical in nature, food and clothing and decoration. But older ladies at the church can also offer relational gifts to young men. So let's talk about those. And the 4th thing they can offer is spiritual motherhood. When the Apostle Paul wrote to a young pastor named Timothy, he told him to treat older women in the church as mothers. In 1 Timothy 5, verses 1 and 2, it says, "Do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him as you would a father. Younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, and younger women as sisters, all in purity." Later in that same chapter, Paul sets out the rules for how the church should go about supporting older widows, those who are 60 plus. And he says that those women should show hospitality, wash the feet of the saints, care for the afflicted, and be devoted to every good work. Passages in the Bible like this show us that in the church, we need spiritual mothers as well as spiritual fathers. Lots of young men today desperately need mentorship. And while I believe that guys should prioritize finding male mentors, we also need to learn from older women. The entire church is blessed when older women embrace their role as spiritual mothers. One of the things that encouraged me to make this video in the first place was an observation that Rebecca McLaughlin made on social media. She said, "One of the benefits of being a woman in my 40s is being able to give men in their 20s some of the comfort, encouragement, and loving rebuke they need. Young men desperately need older male mentors. But I believe there is also real value in motherly relationships within the church." One of the dynamics that McLaughlin identifies here is that the age gap between younger men and older women allows for a kind of honesty in these relationships. When you take the potential for romance off the table, there is really a healthy freedom that you can experience in these friendships. I think one of the biggest mistakes that young men make is only investing in friendships with women who they see as potential romantic partners. Ladies, if you want to know what a man's character is like, watch how he treats women who he does not consider to be romantic possibilities for him. Guys, if you ignore older women you don't want to date, you are missing out on some amazing friendships that you could really benefit from. Not only can older women be helpful mentors for young men, but they can also be powerful advocates for them. Men, if you want to succeed in life, it's important to have high character women on your side. You need godly older ladies in your corner. If you gain the respect of these ladies, things will be so much easier for you. Older women are powerful allies if you want to be an effective leader. Women are often more socially aware than men are, and they can help you navigate challenging relational situations. I often seek the wisdom from my older female friends when I'm dealing with relational challenges in my ministry. Older ladies can also help you make useful connections with other people. One of my side hustles is professional photography, and most of the recommendations that I get come from women. If you treat a woman well, she will tell other people about her experience with you, and she will also tell other people if you treat her poorly. Trust me, guys, word gets around. I said earlier that young men should have friendships with women where romance is off the table, but these friendships can also help young men who want to be married connect with eligible ladies. Basically, the older ladies in your church community can let the younger ladies know that you are not crazy. If you have the respect of the church moms and grandmas, you will have an advantage in your dating life. Older ladies will also make recommendations about eligible women that they know. More than once, I have agreed to go on dates with women who were recommended by older ladies at my church. For various reasons, these dates didn't lead to relationships, but the women that they recommended were quality women. Romantic recommendations don't always work out, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But it's helpful to have older, godly women who will advocate for you. I promised that we would talk about some of the difficulties that can occur in friendships between younger men and older women in the church. So let's talk about a couple of challenges that you may encounter. The first challenge is unwanted romantic recommendations. If you are a single man, it's very likely that the older ladies at your church will want to help you get married. Sometimes this can lead to good connections, but it can also lead to awkward situations. Older women may come up to you and say things like, "You just need to meet my kid's piano teacher," or "There's this lovely young lady in my water aerobics class." And it's awkward when you have to say, "No, thank you. I'm not interested in your granddaughter or in the lady at your book club." We need to remember that being unmarried is not a disease or a defect. The Christian faith affirms the single life in a way that no other faith does. We shouldn't assume that God wants everyone to be married, and we shouldn't try to push people into marriage. So here are 3 pieces of advice for older ladies who want to help younger men get married. First, don't assume that the man is looking to get married, and don't assume that God wants you to find the solution to his problem. Second, don't assume that every unmarried Christian man is automatically compatible with every unmarried Christian woman. If you are going to make a recommendation, make it based on what you know about the personalities and character of both people involved. Third, be willing to take no for an answer. You may not understand why a man isn't interested, or you may not agree with his reasons, but you need to respect his decision. He is an adult, and you should treat him like one. And that leads us to the other challenge that can occur in friendships between older women and younger men in the church. And that is unhealthy paternalism. If you are a woman who has been a mom or wants to be a mom, it can be easy to see younger men as kids, but you won't be a good friend if you treat them that way. Younger men should listen and learn from older women, but older women should not treat younger men like children. A friendship between a young man and an older woman in the church is a friendship between two adults. Several years ago, I had a conversation with a pastor in his 50s who was also unmarried, and he said that this unhealthy paternalism was a problem in his church. The older women would sometimes mother him in ways that didn't recognize him as an equal and that didn't honestly respect his leadership in the church. You don't need to be married to be an adult, and adult men shouldn't be treated like children. I said earlier that we need spiritual mothers in the church, but being a spiritual mother is not an exact parallel to being a biological mother. Now, I know feeding and getting clothes are things that moms do for their kids, but it's important to respect a young man's autonomy. If you do this, you will be able to have more influence in his life in the long run. Now, I spend a lot of time trying to help guys grow up and become more like Jesus, and I know how frustrating it can be to watch someone make immature decisions. But I can't ground these guys or take away their driving privileges. I can't force them to do anything. I can speak the truth and I can pray. And that is exactly what young men need from the older women in their life. If you're a guy and you hear me talk about these potential challenges, you might wonder if it's even worth it to build these kind of friendships. Well, if you are thinking that, I just want to say that it really is worth it. I've had to navigate some relational challenges at times, but I am incredibly grateful for my friendships with older women in my church. Because of these friendships, I'm a more effective leader, I'm more socially aware, I'm less lonely, and I am more like Jesus. I certainly have a long way to go, but my sisters are helping me get there. These days, there is so much distrust between men and women. And if you listen to some guys online, you would think that all women are untrustworthy and vindictive. But if we want to thrive as humans, we need to stop assuming the worst about each other. We were made to complement each other, and not just in marriage, but also in friendship. We need each other. Now, I believe that the church can be a place where social trust is rebuilt. You simply can't hate all women if you have healthy friendships with Jesus-loving ladies who care about you. So guys, start talking to the older ladies at church. And ladies, ask God which younger men that you could start investing in. You might just be surprised how fun and meaningful these friendships can be. Thanks so much for watching. Comment down below if you have any thoughts in response to things I shared here. Also, make sure to subscribe if you have not done so yet. And also make sure to check out the video that I mentioned earlier about how followers of Jesus shouldn't be afraid of being a burden to one another. Until the next time, have a great day.